Hi everyone, Elle Hackney here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I get to speak to everyone in the book community, whether they be authors, illustrators, podcasters, or industries professionals. And today I have a self-published author with so much drive and ambition. I've just been like waiting to speak to this amazing person all the way from Wisconsin in the USA. Please welcome Harleigh from Doppy's Official.
Hi guys. Thank you so much for having me, Lauren. This is really exciting.
I'm excited. I've been following you for a while and I've just seen all your different videos, the books you write, you illustrate, you hustle like mad. Tell me, how did all this start for you?
If we go all the way back, it was when I was 11 is
Oh,
when this started.
okay.
Yeah. So that is where my weird little character came from. So here, nobody knows who this is. This is my main character, Doppy. He was a character that I created originally out of clay when I was 11. And it was in the midst of my parents' divorce, and like he was just like this little figurine that I put a little curly Q on and like eyeballs, and I just named him Doppy like in one sitting. And I showed him to my mom because that is what kids do. You show your projects to your mom. I showed him to my mom. My mom was like, "Oh my gosh, he's so cute. This is so cute." And she never let me let him go ever. She's like, "You need to do something with Doppy." I'm like, "What? I'm 12. I don't know what to do." So then it wasn't until I had my son 6 years ago that like I got back to my childhood and like got back to my roots, and I was like, okay, I want to be a happy mom for my son. So how do I do that? I'm like, okay, well, I need to make me happy. So then I thought about, oh, I always wanted to be a children's book author and illustrator or do something with the arts. And I was surrounded by kids' movies and YouTube videos and books because of my son. I'm like, okay, you know what? I know what to do with Doppy now. I know exactly what to do. So yeah, here we are.
Yeah, well, welcome back, Doppy. And so does your son help you like create the stories, or are these stories you've always wanted to tell?
So the first one that I did, Doppy and the Runaway Balloons, that one was a story that just kind of popped into my head. So that one was the original like motivator. And then all the other stories that I've done were stories that I wrote for my son.
Okay. Yeah.
So
And how old is he now?
he's 6.
Okay, so old enough to see the Dobby, the storyline, and sort of say, "Mum, that's good," or "Mum, maybe not."
Yes, no, he's my perfect little critique. And also, if I'm like blocked, like if I have like a creative block, I can be like, "Hey, Riv, you want to come up with a story? Like, let's come up with a new Doppy story." And he's like, "Okay." And then he's like full of ideas and spitballing. So it helps get those creative juices flowing.
And with the illustration of Doppy, because I know he comes from your childhood, did you feel to change him with coming of maturity? Did you feel to make any changes, or is he pretty original?
He is not original at all. Like, so the original concept of Doppy was a really tall, skinny polymer clay, like basically like Doppy on a diet, basically, is what he looked like. So when I started playing around with Procreate, which is an app on my iPad, like for digital illustrations, I was sketching him and I'm like, this does not look right. Like he needs to look more youthful, more fun, more like bubbly and cute. So lots of revisions later. Now we have modern day Doppy.
Yeah, because I'm looking at him, he's so professional. Like you can tell this is where you're meant to be because all of your illustrations are really captivating. And Doppy just looks like striking. The moment you look at Doppy, it's eye captivating, isn't it? Like it draws in the attention. Did
Mhm.
you do illustration courses, or are you just naturally gifted?
I was always that kid. I was always the kid. I did art classes when I was 6. I started drawing like realism and like sketching and painting when I was 6 years old. So it's always been a huge part of my life. And I also went to a high school where I took 2 AP portfolio classes, so 2 AP art classes, and that took up the most of my time in high school. And I even contemplated doing art college after high school, but I just figured like, wow, I don't want to spend that on tuition, so I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. But I've been always learning and dabbling, and I did take courses to learn how to illustrate digitally.
Okay. Yeah. So how different is the digital experience for you?
So different. It's so different. Because have you ever played around with like Adobe products?
I'm not an
No.
illustrator. I'm really sorry.
I mean, you can still play around with it. Like Photoshop, you can still play around with it. But like in all these products and like systems, there are things called like layers. So if you want to draw something, you draw it on one layer and then you can add another layer and like layer it on. It's very complex to do things digitally, but since I've been doing it for so long, it comes very naturally and it's very easy, but it's a huge learning curve.
It sounds so different to I guess high school, primary school, pens, paper, crayons. It absolutely. Now
Mhm.
we've spoken a lot about the illustrations, but how do you come up with your words? How many drafts on average do you do before it's done for the words?
Uh, 5 or 6, probably. Probably closer to 10 for most of them. I think it really just depends. Like my Doppy Saves the Bees, that's my second one. That one was really easy. Like that one just kind of flew out of me. So I only really needed like 3 drafts of it until I was very happy with it. But for the most part, I'm tinkering around with the words and the flow and the rhythm of all of them and the messaging in all of them at least 6 to 10 times before I actually publish it.
And did you do writers courses as well?
Oh yeah, I was like also in AP English. Like I've always been a reader and a drawer like my entire life. So yeah, I'm always learning new things when it comes to editing, like grammar, like flow, rhythm, cadence, all that. I'm always learning.
And do you feel other authors come to you for advice because what you are producing is so polished?
They come to me, yes, but more so they come to me because like I'm so good at promoting it. That's how they come to me. And I'm like, oh, well, if we're self published, we have to promote our work like it's our full time job. Like we have to do it like it's our full time job. Otherwise, nobody's going to see our books. So, yeah, I guess people do come to me because they do like my work. But initially, they're also self published authors that are like, how are you doing this? Like, how are you marketing this? And I'm like, oh, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, but you can do it.
And so, do you have any tips for self published authors out there for marketing? Because you are a pro.
Well, I would say start marketing, like start talking about your book before you even publish it. Is probably the biggest one. And I wish I would have known that before I put self-published my first one because I had no idea. I had no idea what I was getting into. I was more focused on the actual like formatting, illustrations, editing, like proofing and making sure everything looks good that I didn't even think about the marketing and the sales until like after when it was just like crickets after launch week. Um, so I was like, okay, I wish I would have known to like actually start posting and talking about it before I actually hit publish. So that's probably like my biggest piece of advice.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. And because you are doing so well and you know a lot about distribution, you know a lot about marketing, the writing, the illustrating, the formatting, would you consider working with a traditional publisher down the track?
I don't know. I don't know. That I think it really depends on like what the traditional publisher can do for me. It's like, can you get me into more stores? Like, obviously, that's what they're gonna do. So I think it's for me, it's like how widely distributed can you make me is probably like what the only reason why I would even think about doing a traditional publishing deal. But for the most part, probably no.
Yeah. And do you also do school visits as well with your books?
I've done a couple. I've done a couple, but I'd say like my focus is more so like doing in-person events. So like doing pop-up events and like doing let's see like fall festivals, craft shows, farmers markets. Like I find those really fun. So I do more of those. And I also like since I am a full-time children's book author, it's like during the day while I'm doing my work, I can't like drop my work and then go visit a school. So at some point, I will be able to visit more schools, but I have done a few and I really like them.
Yeah. And with your process, because you are full time, how long does it take for you to do the words, do the illustration, think of the concept from beginning to end? What is the average time frame for you?
Mm, I'd say average 6 months. probably
Per
6
book?
months. Yeah. And I'd say like if I wanted to go faster, I could, but it's because I'm juggling so much at the same time. Like I also take on other client work too as a children's book author. So I'm like doing their work and doing mine. So yeah.
And so, for those out there watching this interview, very curious, they have their own book ideas, but they just don't know how it all looks on the other side. How do you fit it all in?
Originally, I started by just setting a timer every single day for 20 minutes. And that's how I started out because when I was learning how to illustrate, that took me the longest. It was so hard to figure that out because it's so tricky with all the tech stuff. So I would just set a timer every day for 20 minutes and I had no excuses. Every single day I had to do it. Then as time went on, I was able to get faster with the process so I could allow myself more time and be more efficient and productive. So I'd say like start small, start doing baby steps. That will help you and you can build on top of those baby steps.
Yeah, no, that is excellent advice. And what is something that you've taken away from your journey that you just weren't expecting from self-publishing?
I didn't expect to actually learn so much about business from publishing.
That makes sense.
No idea. I had no idea. I was like, okay, obviously at some point it's going to come into it, but I didn't know like the legal aspects of it. Like I have an LLC. I have, let's see, I was going through a trademark process. I was going through like sales and use tax. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, the amount of business knowledge that you need to have in order to actually do it and do it well is wild. Like you probably can't even learn this stuff in like a business course in a normal college.
And so, with these books, what's the best feedback you've gotten from a reader?
The best feedback is that they loved the story and that it was fun to listen to and to read and that they actually learned something from my book.
That's
Yeah,
really
that was a
cool.
big
That
one.
is really cool.
Because it's like I have like three of my books are like nature based and I like to put fun facts in those books because I love fun facts. I think fun facts are so fun. So I put like five fun facts about the topic of each of my books in the back and I even have teachers tell me like, "Oh, I actually didn't know that." Like I didn't know bees couldn't see the color red and I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy. I was able to teach you something." So that's probably the best feedback I've gotten.
I like that too. And I didn't know that either. And that's my thing, like with self publishing, because if you were to take this to a traditional publisher, there is no guarantee you would be able to do those things with
Exactly.
your book. And how cool is it? You get to promote to everyone else your story is important. Your story should be told. Tell it how you want to tell it. Because that's my biggest message I keep getting from you online
Mhm.
is your story deserves to be told. Tell it how you want to tell it. What do you think the biggest fears for authors out there are about self-publishing?
Well, obviously there is the fear of failure. There's the fear of criticism, like you get bad reviews or you just don't do things correctly or in the right flow or you have like a typo in your published book. Like those are the things that I thought about and like held me back for a while. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? If I don't do it at some point, I'm never going to do it. Like if I don't do it now, I'm probably not going to do it for a very long time, if not ever. So I think the biggest fear is just like getting over the hurdle and like realizing that you can do it and you're not an imposter for doing it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Because there are some people who need the validation from a traditional publishing contract, but you can
Right.
get rubbish reviews either way. I think that's
Yeah.
something authors just forget. Just because you're
Yeah.
traditional or whichever path, people are mean.
Yes, they are. Especially behind a computer screen, like that you don't know their real name, you don't know their face. They can say whatever they want because they're so tough behind their computer screen. Um, but yeah, you're not like people aren't gonna like your book. Like not everybody's gonna like your book. Not everybody's gonna like your illustrations. And that's the beauty of it is like you can create something original in your tone, in your voice, in like the messaging that you want. and you're going to find people that love your book
That's
because it's
exactly right.
you. Yeah,
There's like 7 billion people in the world. The odds are you'll find someone. I love
yeah,
those odds.
exactly. So it's like, yeah, you're not like also with the imposter syndrome thing, like that was something that like I've been battling for a long time. And I feel like that never goes away for a lot of us. We're like, oh yeah, we're authors, but it's like, but I'm just self-published. Am I actually an author? And it's like, yeah, you are, because you're actually like putting in the reps and you're actually doing the things that other people who say they want to be an author aren't doing, or even like daring to think about doing. So
And that's what
yeah.
I like about your message. You're actually helping change lives because writing can be healing. It's anything creative feeds your soul. It's such a beautiful thing. And I think what people forget to take away from this is those rewards are so much bigger than you don't always have to land on a best-selling list. Just being in the game, creating, getting your story out there. Now, for anyone watching this video today who's captivated by you also and is just inspired to start, how do we all find you, contact you, and buy your books?
So I've got a couple different ways that you can reach me. So I have an Instagram, like you mentioned before. It's at Doppy's Official, Doppys Official. And I actually have a YouTube channel where if you have any questions on like marketing and promotion and like publishing, all that good stuff, I have a YouTube channel and it's called, well, the username is at author Harleigh Rose. Then I also have a website where all of my books are listed. I have board book versions and paperbacks also listed on my website, doppys.com, Doppys.com.
Perfect. So, anyone watching this video today, we want to see more work from Harleigh. So, make sure you follow her on the socials, check out her Instagram, buy her books, review her books, and make sure you keep in contact or touch base with Harleigh because she would love to hear from you as well. Harleigh, thank you so much for joining me today. It's just been an absolute pleasure hearing your journey and congratulations on everything.
Oh, thank you so much. Like you DMing me and asking me for this, I was like, oh, 100% yes. I would love to talk to you and be on your channel. Like I would love that. So I really appreciate you having me.